Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. Now, hit subscribe, and as the kids say, smash the little bell. Come back over and over again. We've got authors, artists, filmmakers, musicians, creative minds of all kinds. We are at Space Coast Book Lovers in Cape Canaveral, Florida this weekend, and we're hanging out right now with author Lynda Haviland, the creator, the author of The Last Ringmaster. Lynda, how are you today?
Very good.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. All right, so let's start with The Last Ringmaster. That's the most recent book. Okay, coming out, by the time they see this, the excitement will be worn off a little bit, but it's coming out today.
Yes.
So now for them it's exciting because they haven't bought it yet.
Right.
So now click the link below and go buy it. But for
Please.
us today, making this interview is exciting because it's coming out today.
Yes.
So tell me about The Last Ringmaster. Give me the book blurb.
Well, it starts, I'm blending two worlds, a fae world and a human world. And I was in the middle of doing
Always fun, by the way.
Absolutely. Everything I write has magic in it. To me, the fun thing about reading and writing and artistry, everything creative comes from some element of magic within us. So I like to include magic in everything that I write. And I was doing a lot of research about Florida and Florida history. And there's a period of time in Florida that really intrigues me. And it's when the circus used to winter in Florida. Now, I live on the east coast of Florida, but the west coast of Florida, there's just so many interesting facets to our history over there. And it's kind of not understood. And, when you start looking at those time periods of pirate and Indian and circus.
I actually knew the name of the town that literally was founded by the Barnum team when they would come down. Gibsonton. Thank you. And they would come, and that's where they would spend their winters when they weren't on the road. And it stayed that way well into the late 20th century. I don't know if it's still.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what I love that community, Gibsonton, because that's where the sideshow entertainers retired. That's where they wintered. That's where they retired. Sarasota is where the more elite of the circus, like
the ringmasters and those people.
The elite people. That's where they went. So they took the nice shoreline. They took all the coastline where they could pull up their yachts and build their big houses. And Gibsonton is where the sideshow, the handlers, the builders, the craftsmen. That's where they went. So when I started thinking about magic and the fae world and blending it with the human world, I decided that I liked the idea of the circus always being a mecca for fae creatures, for magical creatures.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
They look different. They can be themselves. They would blend in.
With the circus performers.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
So in the universe I'm creating is that the old circus line, the rail lines and everything was the transportation for magical creatures. That's where they were safe. That was their safety zone. So from one location to another, you had sanctuaries. The Last Ringmaster of my book is the guardian of the last fae sanctuary.
Oh, wow.
So the Ringmaster for me in the title, and the whole series title is The Last Ringmaster. So the first book is titled and the series title. The Ringmaster is a double meaning because it's that circus theme.
Of the Ringmaster. But he's also the guardian and the master of this area. Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a neat idea. There's a certain logic in creating that story, is in that if there were these magical creatures, where would they go? As time and people and society changes, where would it not be noticed?
Right.
And the circus is a great environment for that because everything was so odd, and that was its magic.
Right.
And so bringing magical creatures is a really cool thing. Now, you had talked earlier about writing and it being just a magical process, a process of bringing that magic to life. Favorite magical creatures? What are your favorites?
Favorites? Yeah. So many.
Yes, there are.
Gosh, that's hard because I like them all and
what is your favorite thing about the sort of the world or underworld or culture of magic? What draws you to those creatures?
Vulnerability.
Okay.
The fact that that characters are not, they're not like us. They're very different, and yet when you get to the core of their personality, they are just like us. And I think that speaks to sort of everything going on in the world today.
It does. It is incredibly timely message, because regardless, it is a science fiction, fantasy. These are places where we talk about really, really heady topics in very non-threatening environments.
Right.
It's okay to start out a story hating an alien or a magical creature,
Right.
and evolving past that by noticing the similarities. It's hard to start a story where we do that as a people, where we
Right.
look into, we say, this person or that. It's hard to do that nowadays and
Right.
be honest with ourselves.
Right.
What you've been able to do is show the distinctions and the differences between magical races and say, hey, but what do they have in common?
Right.
And with any luck, good fantasy and good science fiction and good magic, the magic of it is that it forces us as a reader, while we're having a good time, to accidentally think
Right.
and hopefully bring something away from that we can apply to our own lives.
Right. Find that sense of humanity and compassion for others, whatever their persuasion is, whatever their color, shape, size.
Because you're going to find that in the book. You're
Right.
going to find a certain amount of empathy and compassion for a character that you don't start out with.
Right.
So if you can do that to a fictional character,
Right.
hopefully you walk away and you're thinking, wait
Right.
a minute, I'm going to do that for my neighbor too.
Right.
Could be pretty cool.
Right.
So this particular universe, you blended the universe, the world of magic with the world of the circus. Writers are readers, writers are researchers.
Yes.
Most interesting thing you found out about the circus in your journey?
Just how involved it is. I love going to the Ringling Museum over in Sarasota, and there's a man who has artistically recreated in miniature an entire circus.
Wow.
And I believe he's still doing it and still bringing them pieces, and he donates the pieces to the museum. But the whole circus room, this whole miniature circus, it's like the size of a garage.
Oh, I believe that.
And it's a replica of an entire traveling circus. It is a miniature town, and it's amazing to me that they can, wrap up, haul up, throw all their stuff on these trains and travel from town to town and do it all over again, over and over and over again.
And almost literally in those days especially, what an exercise in teamwork and in ingenuity, because they would literally do it in a night.
Yeah.
We recently, there is a great, and I'm just going to shout it out, and I'll put a link down below for you guys. It's, I think it was on Netflix. They have a series that is the story of the circus in America, and it follows all the way through until you get to Barnum, and then it takes from Barnum until Barnum hooked up with the Ringling Brothers.
Right.
And it shows you, and in those days when they first started to travel, they would load up the train, they would come into town, take a day or day and a half to set up, and then rip the whole thing down overnight and be gone the next morning, an empty
Right.
field.
It's crazy.
And it was amazing to
Yeah.
me to think of the manpower and the teamwork that was necessary to do that week in and week out for an
Right.
entire season. That's incredible.
Right.
And the museum is a fantastic place to go to learn about those things. And look, it took me 2 hours just to put this up, and it amazes me that they could do a town-sized
Right.
thing, and it was just amazing. So this is a series, The Last Ringmaster. This is the first book in the
Yep.
series.
Yep,
And
book
how
two
many
is in the works.
How many are planned?
I've got 4 right now planned. The second book has some more creepy dolls in it, and the third one is going to be an elephant graveyard, which actually exists in the Sarasota area. Nobody knows exactly where it is.
Wait, an elephant graveyard
An elephant graveyard.
in Sarasota,
Yes.
Florida.
Yes. Nobody knows exactly where it is.
I'm just saying, that's kind of cool.
You have a circus with a lot of animals, not just
True. Didn't
just
do the
elephants,
math.
but-
Really seriously didn't do the math. I was thinking, wait a minute, elephant graveyard, Sarasota, what? and then yes, they have to. Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
And then there's another fourth
So I
one.
got to get writing.
Yeah, she's got a lot of writing to do, a lot of researching to do.
Yes.
And it's great. That's a great area over there for because it's contained.
Yes.
Yes, so you can kind of get to it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it,
Thank you.
Lynda. We have to wrap it up. We have to thank our partners and friends over at Krypton Radio, Famous Faces and Funnies, our great friends at Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida, and the Foxwood Wine Company for these really comfy chairs to make everything really nice.
nice.
That's right. Our good friends at Embellish Effects, the Coggler Emporium for these great set pieces here, our great friend Jay Bauer at Jay Bauer Art, and the Indie Originals Live folks, as well as Jake Estrada over at Space Coast Comics. Thank you guys for all of your support, all you do. These are the people that share our videos all over the World Wide Web. We hope that you will too. So remember, everybody, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynda.
Thank
That
you.
was awesome.
Thank you. You made that so easy.